So let's quickly review, okay, recap what happened last time. So last time we did a synthetic division, and remember the synthetic division only works if the divisor has degree 1, right? And then we did a couple questions like that, okay? And then, so the one that we did, okay, the divisor that we had always has x with coefficient of 1, okay? So look at the case 1. Divided by x minus b, right? So the x is always 1x only, okay? So let's see for the next page, case 2. It's dividing by ax minus b, right? So you have a coefficient in front of x other than 1, right? In this case, it's 2x plus 1, right? So there's a 2. Okay, and then we had long division. Long division, we already got the answer for x squared minus 3, and then we'll follow the same steps for synthetic. See what happens, okay, if there's any difference. So step 1 was to solve divisor equal to 0, right? It's still the same step, okay? So we have 2x, okay, we'll write that down, divisor equal to 0. So 2x plus 1 equal to 0. So if we solve for x, what's the answer then? Eric?
Negative 1 over 2.
Yeah, okay, so we are going to put negative 1 over 2 on the outside of the box, okay? So outside, we'll put negative 1/2, and then inside will be the dividend, right? So it will be 2, 1, negative 6, and 3, right? We need to make sure there's no skipping of the term, right? Otherwise, you need to put a 0. And then to do synthetic division, we just follow these two words, right? Cross and then add, okay? But first, you need to drop down the first number, right? So we'll put, okay. So we'll put 2 down, 2 goes down, okay? And then multiply with the divisor. So 2 times negative 1/2 will be negative 1. So cross will be negative 1, right? Add together 0. And then multiply, you get 0 again. Add together. Right? And then finally, the last one, if we multiply negative 1/2 and negative 6, that gives you positive 3, right? So you get the final number, add together is a 6. And the last number is the remainder, right? This one is the remainder. And as you can see on the left side, you also get the same remainder. Okay, so remainder, it matches. Now the quotient, okay, what will be the variable for the quotient? What degree do we start with? Donna?
2x squared.
Yeah, okay, so we start with x squared because the first term for the dividend was x cubed, right? Remember, you have to lower it by 1 degree. So it'll be 2x squared. And then the middle one, we have a 0, so we don't have the x term. And then minus 6. Okay, so looks like the quotient we got is 2x squared minus 6. But if you compare with the answer on the long division, right? Long division, we got different, right? We have x squared minus 3 instead. So what's the difference here? Iray, what do you see?
It's doubled.
Yes, okay, it's double of the actual answer because the the number you use on the outside okay, of the box, you have a 2, right? But then, if you put the x minus half, if you put the negative half in the on the outside, you're actually pretending the divisor, okay, divisor was x plus half, right? Because based on what we did before, right, last class, right, if you isolate the x, you also get negative half. So when you use negative half on the outside, you are actually using x plus half as a divisor, okay? So if you compare this divisor with the real divisor that we want to do, right, it's actually, if we write it out, okay? If we write out a division statement, okay, if you remember division statement on the top, okay, P equal dq plus r, okay? Let me write that down so you can see. P is the inside, the dividend, right? P equals to D. So if I use negative half, it's like divisor is this, right? And then Q we have is 2x squared minus 6, right? The Q that we got, plus R, which is 6. Okay, so it doesn't match the divisor from the original question. So in order to make it match, what we need to do is we need to multiply the divisor that we have here with a 2, and that 2 is going to come from the quotient that you got. Okay, so we need to divide this quotient by 2, at the same time multiply this divisor by 2, right? So we divide on the quotient and at the same time times the divisor. So actually we didn't change the answer. Does that make sense? Right? The quotient divided by 2, at the same time I add the extra times 2 at the front. So let's see what happens. So now it will be 2x plus 1, right? If I multiplying the 2, right? And then the quotient divided by 2, so that will be x squared minus 3. Remainder is not affected. Okay, so now the divisor is the same as the question, and that's what we want. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand the logic here, why we need to divide by 2? Okay, Samantha, do you get it? Okay, if we write negative half on the outside, we are sort of changing the question for the moment, right? We're pretending the divisor as x plus half, but that's for temporarily, right? So at the end, we need to times the divisor by 2 to make it match. Therefore, your answer for the quotient, you need to divide by 2, okay? Times 2, divide by 2, they cancel each other out, okay? So your final answer, right? Your quotient should be this one, okay? That should be the quotient. So you can make a note over here, okay? So you circle the 1 over to the 2, right? And then this number, you need to put it under the quotient, okay? And then equals to x squared plus 3. So this one, sorry, not x squared plus 3, x squared minus 3. So that will be your quotient. Okay. So I'd like you to try 2 questions down here. Okay, each one of them has a number in front of it, right? So if there's a number in front of it, at the end, your answer needs to divide by that number. Okay? So let's start with question A. Okay, I'll let you try. Okay, follow step 1, step 2. And then when you finish the dividing, please write out the division statement. Okay, so connecting everything together. Okay, I would like to know what number do you put outside for the step 1. Okay, Cindy, what number is the x? Cindy, is your mic working?
Wait, are we doing it like the long division or like synthetic?
Synthetic. Yeah.
Okay.
So what number should we put outside for synthetic?
1/3.
Yep, 1/3. Okay. All right, so go ahead. Okay, we are not doing long division. Okay, whenever the degree for divisor is 1, we just use synthetic. All right, so 1/3 inside, just write the coefficients. Okay, there's no missing term, so it's okay. All right, so when you finish the dividing, remember to think about what number you need to divide for the quotient, okay? So please raise your hand if you finish the numbers in the box, okay? When you finish step 2. All right, so first number is to drop down the 9, right? Times a third, so 3, add together, multiplied again, will be 2, right? And then 2/3. So the final remainder should be what? Tiana?
8/3.
Yep, 8/3. Okay, so it's possible to have fraction. Okay. Now, what about the quotient? Eric, how do we get a quotient then?
Is it 9x² minus 3x plus 2?
Okay, looks like that, yeah, but that's not the final quotient.
Oh, divide by 3.
Yes, okay, because of the 3 or the 3 in the coefficient of the divisor, right? The 3 is from there. Each one of them needs to divide by 3, right? You can put it as O/3, right? O/3, and then simplify, right? So if you divide, that will give you 3x² minus x, right? Because 3 and 3 canceled out, plus 2/3. Okay, so this is your quotient. Okay, so now division statement. When you have finished writing out division statement, please raise your hand. P equal dq plus r. Okay, that's the division statement. Okay, Ray, what goes into the first bracket?
9x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x plus 2.
Thank you. And Donna, what goes into the second bracket?
X minus 1 over 3.
X minus 4 over 3. Where's that come from?
No, 1 over 3.
Oh, no, we are not using the 1/3 because we already got the correct quotient, right? So you just use the original one, okay? 3x minus 1. Okay, Donna?
Wait, why?
Because the quotient we already divided by 3,
Okay.
okay? Yeah. Before we use x minus, right? Look, the previous question, we used x plus half. It was because I was trying to explain why we need to divide by 2, right? So, yeah, so since we already divided by 3, so we are gonna just use the final answer, all right? Okay, so what's the bracket, the third bracket then? Eric?
3x squared minus x plus 2 over 3.
Yeah, okay, so you will use the quotient that's already divided by, okay? And then finally, the remainder is 8 over 3. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, so remember that you need to do some modification, okay, on your final answer. And also, as you can see here, right, if you try to expand, right, do the FOIL thing, right, 3x times by 3x squared, that will give you the 9x cubed. Then you know it matches, right? And then, yeah, so we are not expanding everything, okay? Just showing you that, right, it has to be divided by 3. If we did not do that, right, it won't match the coefficient. Okay, so now please try question B. If you finish step 2, you can raise your hand. Okay, Tiana, can you tell us what number to put outside the box?
-2.
-2, very good. Okay, so 2x plus 4 equals 0 equal -2. Now inside we need to list out coefficient for dividend, right? So Cindy, can you tell me the coefficient for dividend?
8, 4, 0, -19.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so we drop down the 8, times it by that, so that's -16, negative 12, 24, negative 48, right? And then 96. Have you guys finished the remainder yet? Please raise
Wait,
your.
how do you get negative 48?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so add it up. So 24, and then negative 48 should go there. Okay, so Eric, what's your remainder then?
Negative 67.
Okay, negative 67. All right, and then what about the quotient? What should be the quotient then? Donna?
Wait, why is it negative though?
Which one?
Negative 67 isn't supposed to be positive
Why? Why do you think it's positive?
because add,
We're
right?
adding, right?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, negative 19 means you go to the left, and then you keep on going to the left, 48. Okay, so how do you get a quotient now, Donna?
X, oh yeah, 8x squared
And then
minus 12x plus 24.
anything else?
Uh,
We need to divide by anything?
yeah,
Okay, what should we divide by?
2.
Yeah, divide by 2. Okay, even though over here you don't see a denominator, right? It looks like it's a negative 2 over 1. But remember, when you solve for x equal to negative 2, it was looking like this: x equal to negative 4 over 2, right? So there was a 2 before, right? So it's better to just focus on the original coefficient, right? If you see a coefficient of 2, sometimes you can reduce it and then it's gone, right? So the 2 divided by 2 came from the coefficient of the divisor. So your real quotient should be 4x squared minus 6x plus 12. Okay? All right, and then finally, division statement. Cindy, what's the first one?
8x cubed plus 4x squared minus 19.
Okay, plus 4x squared minus 19. And next one, Tiana.
2x plus 4.
Yep, 2x plus 4. And Eric?
4x squared minus 6x plus 12.
Yeah. And then finally, the remainder, right, is at negative 67. Negative 67, you can just write it as minus 67. Okay, let me rewrite this part. Okay, plus 12, and then minus 67. Okay, so just to double check again, right? So if you expand the two brackets, right, you can see that 2x times 4x squared, it will match the first term, right? Give you 8x cubed, right? If we did not divide by 2, then it won't match, okay, when you expand. Okay, so that's how you divide using synthetic, because we'll be using synthetic for the rest of the chapter. And if you do long division, it takes much longer, right? And a lot more spaces. Okay, question 3 is pretty straightforward. This one is just kind of like function. If you remember, when you see f of x, right? And then if they want you to find f of 1, that means you sub in the 1 into the x. Okay, so p of x is similar to like having a function. We use p because it represents polynomial. Okay, so it's not p times x. It's the same symbol as the function notation. All right. So for p of 1, it will just be 1 cube, right? We subbed 1 into the x. Minus 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1 plus 4. Okay, and then you can take out the calculator or just do it in the head. This one is not too difficult, right? 1 minus 2, so -1, -1 plus 3, so 2, 2 plus 4, 6. Okay, so just subbing in value. Any questions? Should be okay, right? So B and C, we are not going to do it, okay? It's just subbing in value. And you can use the calculator. Make sure you have brackets, okay? If there's a negative number, especially when fractions, okay? So then your calculator doesn't get it wrong, right? All right, if you are okay with this part, question 3, can you raise your hand? And we'll look at next page. Cindy? Cindy, Samantha, do you understand question A? Yeah, okay. So now we are going to combine everything we learned so far, synthetic division and the function p of x, and then together we are going to learn how to factor. Okay, so everything up to now is just trying to build up some skills that you need. Okay, so first thing is called the remainder theorem. Remainder theorem means we can use it to find, okay, you can write it down, how to find remainder without dividing. Okay, so remainder theorem, the purpose, okay, of learning this is we can find the remainder without dividing. But this way, it doesn't tell you what the quotient is, right? Because we did not divide, right? So for example, like over here, the previous questions, right? We have to go through all the synthetic and then we can get the remainder. Now I want to find a way so we can get the remainder without dividing. So we're gonna look at the right-hand side, okay? This example, okay? Remainder theorem. First thing, we're going to write out the division statement, okay? So P is the long one, right? P equals to dq plus r, right? R is something we want to find. Okay, so what goes into the second bracket? Eric?
3x minus 2.
Yep, very good. The divisor, right? And then q, which we do not know, right? Because we didn't divide anything, right? Now, if I want to find the remainder, right? This is our goal. I want to figure out what remainder is. All I need to do is find a way so then this part is gone, right? Because I want to find, our goal is try to get r equals something. So the right-hand side, I don't want to have dq, okay? And then to make that happen, what we can do is try to make the divisor equal to 0. Okay, to make divisor equal to 0, does that sound familiar here, right? This is what we've been doing, making divisor equal to 0, right? We take 2x plus 1 equal to 0 and so for x, right? Then that x is going to be the number that can make it equal to 0. Make sense so far? Okay, so we do it on the side. I want 3x minus 2 equal to 0. So x must be what? Donna?
2/3.
Yeah, x has to be 2/3. Okay, when x equal to 2/3, then the divisor will disappear. And when divisor is 0, then q times 0, quotient times 0 will be gone. Okay, so we are going to sub x as 2/3. Okay, and we will sub this into the dividend as well. All right, so the left side, which is a polynomial, we'll write it as p of 2/3. That's the left side. And then right side, because divisor is 0, right? So you're gone. Your two brackets disappear. So you are just left with r. Okay? So there is our theorem. If you want to find the remainder, you just substitute whatever number that can make divisor equal to 0 into the dividend. Okay? So the left side will be 6x cubed minus x squared, right? Instead of x, we have 2/3 plus 10x minus 9. Okay, that's the left side, which should give you remainder. Okay, anyone confused here? Can you raise your hand if you understand up to here? All right, so please take out the calculator. All right, so type this in, okay? 6 times 2/3 cubed. Make sure you have brackets. And whatever you get on the left side, that should be the remainder, okay? So please raise your hand if you have found it on your calculator. Type everything in, okay, on the left side. So doing this way, we don't need to divide, right? But of course, you still don't know what the quotient is, right? Because we made it multiply by 0, it's gone, right? Vaporized.
-1.
Hold on, you got -1. Okay. Ray, how about you?
Same.
Same, Eric?
Same.
Same, okay. Yeah, okay. So let's see if it works, right? So let's go to the left side. We're going to quickly check with the synthetic division, all right? So outside the box, we are gonna put 2/3, right? And we'll put 6, -1, 10, -9. And then we drop down the 6. 6 times 2/3, okay? So you have to be quick with the fraction. I'll give you 4, 3, 2, and then what? 12, right? 8, -1. Okay, so this also works, right? So it matches the two sides, right? The same. Okay, but of course the left side can also give you the quotient, right? So the quotient for this, because we have a 3, right, in the denominator, the coefficient is a 3. So your quotient, you need to divide by 3. So 2x squared plus x plus 4. Okay, that should be the quotient. Okay, any questions? Okay, so if no question, we'll try one more question, B, okay, by yourself. So you just find the remainder, okay? You don't need to get a quotient. So question B. When you finish, you can raise your hand, okay? Or if you get stuck, okay? you can raise your hand too, right? Or just ask me the questions. You don't need to write out the division statement, okay? When you try to apply the remainder theorem, you can start with R, okay? R equals to P of, okay? So what's the number we should sub in? Tiana?
-3/2.
Yeah, -3/2. Okay, and then you just start by subbing in. Okay, you don't need to write out the division statement as I did. I wrote it out. It was to help you understand why, right? Why it works. But then when you are doing question, okay, you just start from here. Okay. Oops. Yeah, you just show the work in the red box like that. Okay. You start with R equals. Okay, so when you get the remainder, please raise your hand. Take out the calculator. All right, so let's see if your calculator skill is good. All right, Eric, what do you have for remainder?
-37.
-37. How about Donna?
Same.
Same. Cindy?
Same.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is okay, right? It's possible if you get a remainder fraction, okay? Doesn't mean it's wrong, okay? Sometimes you get fraction. All right, so just subbing in, right? Next one, we are going to do, let's do question B. Okay, so this time, instead of finding the remainder, it tells you to find the value of k, right? Where is k? K is here, right? One of the number, okay? If the remainder is 1, so instead of asking you to find remainder, they tell you the remainder. So I would like you to try that, okay? Same thing. You can start by writing this out, okay? And then think about what to do, all right? So if you're able to find K, you can raise your hand. Or if you have no idea, okay, after thinking about it, still don't know what to do, you can raise your hand too, okay? And then we'll go over or give you some hint. Sort of working backwards, right? Instead of finding remainder, they tell you the remainder. Does anyone need hint? Or you guys are doing okay? Okay, Donna, what should go inside the brackets? P of?
-2.
Yeah, -2. Very good. Okay, let's check some of your answers. Okay, Cindy, what do you have for K?
-2.
-2. E-ray?
9.
9. Eric?
9.
9. Tiana?
1 over -8.
1 over -8. Okay. Can we get one more answer? Donna, how are you doing?
9.
9. Okay. So sounds like 9 has most votes, right? Okay. Let's see how your work is different from mine. Okay. So because they tell you the remainder is 1, so your remainder you can just replace it with 1, right? Because they tell you that it has to equal to 1. And then the right side is saying that I want to sub in -2, right? It'll be -2 cubed minus 3, -2 squared minus 6, that's -2 plus k. Right? If you sub in -2, it should give you the remainder, and which is 1, right? Equals to 1. Okay, so that will be an equation for you to solve for k. So I think if you get it wrong, it's probably just because you put in a calculator wrong. I don't know. Is there anything you did differently? Cindy, how did you do something different?
No, I'm pretty sure I just plugged it in wrong.
Okay. How about Tiana?
Oh, I did the same thing, but like instead of at the last step, I put -8k instead of -8 plus k equals to 1.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So the question, right? Little mistakes, right? Just plus k. So 1 equal to -8. That will be -12, right? Minus 12 plus 12 plus k. Yeah. So -8 plus k equal 1. So that will give you k equal to 9. Okay. So pretty straightforward. It's the same thing, right? Same formula, R equal to P of something. So let's summarize it, right? Go back to the previous page. Remainder theorem, okay? Let's put the remainder theorem in one sentence, right? So easier for you to understand. So we'll just write it here. Remainder, right? Remainder equals P of, and the number that goes inside is divisor equal 0. Okay, so we can repeat this a couple times, right? Remainder equals P of divisor equals 0. Okay, the number that goes in will make divisor equals 0. All right, so can everyone turn on your mic? Let's say this 3 times, okay? Everybody, please turn on your mic. Samantha, you ready? Hello. Okay, so let's say it together. Remainder equals. Hello?
Remainder equals
Very good. P of divisor equals 0.
P of
P of divisor equals 0.
Very good. Remainder equals.
Remainder equals
P of divisor equals 0.
P
P
of
of divisor equals 0.
Excellent. Okay, one last time. Remainder equals P of divisor equals 0. Together?
Remainder equals to P of divisor equals 0.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's look at one more question, okay? So this time is similar to question 5, okay? Except it has 2 unknowns, right? You can take a look. The polynomial p x cubed minus x squared plus qx minus 2, right? There's a p and q missing. And it will have no remainder when divided by x minus 1, right? First part. And it will have remainder of -18 if you divide it by x plus 2. So please find P and Q, right? P is the coefficient for xq. Q is the coefficient for x. Okay, so still using the same way, okay? Remainder equals P of divisor equals 0. Okay, so I'd like you to try to set it up. There are two parts to this, so you will get two lines, okay? One is using the x minus 1, the other one is using x plus 2, okay? So I'll let you try it. Go as far as you can, okay? When you, if you get stuck, okay, you can raise your hand, okay? Otherwise, you can go all the way to the end, find P and Q. I remember for this one, the P and Q, they are both integers, okay? Nice numbers. So what you should be getting first, right, is to try to get two equations, okay? Each remainder give you one equation, right? So you get two equations with a P and Q, right, two unknowns. Then you have to solve a system of equation, okay? That's the plan, system. Okay, I would like to check the first equation. Okay, Tiana, do you have the first equation?
No.
Do you know how to get the first equation?
No.
Okay, the first sentence says no remainder, right? No remainder means what's the remainder?
0.
0, right? So you would have 0, right? 0 is the remainder, so you write 0 equals, right? P of, so what's the number that we should sub in?
1.
1, yeah. So you will sub it in, right? And then you get the first equation equal to 0. Okay, you do the same thing for the second part. So for second part, Cindy, how do we get the second equation?
I did P bracket -2
P of -2, and that should equal to
of 18.
-18.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So each of them has substitution, right? You need to sub in the value and then you get the equation. Okay, so now you sub in the value, right? So 0, for example, first one, 0 should equal to, now you sub in the 1 into the x, right? So it'll be P times 1 cubed, so that will be 1, minus 1 squared, plus Q times 1, so that's Q, minus 2, right? So that's your first equation. Okay, so continue, get the second equation. Okay, Donna, do you have the second one?
Yeah, negative. Wait, what? Oh, negative 18.
Equals,
Negative 8p
yeah,
minus 4 minus 2 cubed minus 2.
minus 2. Okay, very good. And then these two equations, they look pretty long, right? So you could simplify it, move all the constants to the left, right? Keep the variable on the other side, okay? So for example, first one, if we move the -1 and -2 to the other side, they will add together, right? So you will get P plus Q should equal to 3, right? Which is much easier to look at, right? And then the other one, let's simplify that one. Okay, Tiana, have you simplified the second one yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me know after you simplify it, okay? Got it, Tiana?
Negative 12 equals to negative 8p minus 2q.
Okay, negative 8p minus 2q equal to negative 12, okay? Yeah, so after this, you can solve the system of equation, okay? You have two ways. You either do it by elimination, right, or substitution. Does anyone have question about how to do that? So Cindy, you have finished P and Q? You found it?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you have, P and Q?
I got p equals negative 2 and q equals
5?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, can you guys raise your hand if you found the two equations? Only two people got the two equations? Okay, how about this? Okay, change of questions. If you please raise your hand if you don't know how to find PQ, right? If you don't know how to do system of equations, please raise your hand. Okay, so all of you are solving, is it? Okay, because I couldn't see you. You gotta let me know, okay? Elimination or substitution, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll wait for you guys. If you can get P and Q, please raise your hand. Okay, I don't know if these two numbers are right or not. Okay, so if you get something different, it's okay, right? Just raise your hand. Okay, so Eric, what do you have?
I have P equals 1 and Q equals 2.
Q equals to 2. Okay. Double check. Okay, double check your elimination substitution. Okay, check your steps. Okay, Donna, what do you have?
Same as Eric.
Same as Eric, so 1 and 2. Okay, Ray,
Same.
same as who? Ray, same as who?
Actually, I got Q is 2 and P is 1.
Oh, okay. So 1 and 2, right? PQ. Okay. So Cindy, double check. Okay, double check. Okay, if I were to do this question, I'm going to use elimination. Okay, but of course you can do a substitution. So Cindy, which way did you do?
I did substitution.
Okay, can you tell me what you did?
No, I realized where I went wrong because like in the front, like for the second equation, I forgot to like plug in the -18 on the other side.
Negative. Oh, okay. So you had 0 on the other side?
Yeah, I accidentally forgot to like move the -18 over.
I see. Okay. Okay. So see if you can get 1 and 2. Okay. Okay. So then let's review the elimination then. Okay. I'm going to eliminate the Q. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 2. Okay. I'll put it down here. So it'll be 2P plus 2Q equal to 6. Okay. The bottom one, I just keep it the same. First equation times that by 2. So you can see that the 2Q and -2Q, they are opposite, right? One is positive, one is negative. So if I add them up, then the Q will cancel out, right? This is called elimination. So we add the top and bottom, that will give you -6P equal to -6, right? So P will be 1. Once you got P equal to 1, you just sub into any one of the equations, right? You know P plus Q has to be 3, right? So Q must be 2, okay? So answer will be this one. Okay, of course, substitution will work, okay? Doesn't matter. All right, so I want to take an early break today, okay? Because next part is the fresh new start, okay? So let's have a quick break. I'll see you guys at 6:15, okay? And then we'll complete the rest. Okay, see you soon.